Texas Senator, Republican Senator Ted Cruz joins us now. May I just say, Mr. Senator, I never thought I'd see the day when the chair of the House Judiciary Committee, Gerald Nadler, actually proposed to pack the Supreme Court for political reasons. That's my 2 cents. Have at it, please, Mr. Senator.
Well, Stuart, you're exactly right. And today's Democratic Party is more radical than it's ever been. They've made a political decision to hand control over the party to the extreme left, to the radical left. And so on the Supreme Court, their objective is to put 4 left-wing radicals on the Supreme Court to destroy the checks and balances, to destroy the independence of the judiciary. You know, FDR tried to do this in the 1930s, and his own party, the Democratic Party, said, no, that would be terrible for the rule of law. That would undermine the rights of Americans that are protected in the Constitution. Today's Democratic Party doesn't care about that at all. As you know, my latest book is entitled One Vote Away, How a Single Supreme Court Seat Can Change History. And every chapter of the book talks about a different constitutional right. There's a chapter on free speech. There's a chapter on religious liberty. There's a chapter on the Second Amendment. And the book tells war stories from litigating some of the biggest landmark cases before the Supreme Court. It brings you inside. It lets you understand what's happening at the court, how they reach their decisions. And what is so powerful in the book is that it makes clear that in case after case after case, our fundamental liberties were decided by cases that were 5-4. We're 1 vote away from losing our liberties. And the objectives of the Democrats, if they put 4 new radical leftists on the court, our free speech rights go out the window, our religious liberty goes out the window, the Second Amendment is effectively repealed from the Bill of Rights. And none of those are hyperbole. That is, in fact, the agenda when it comes to today's Democrats.
Yes, sir. I'm going to move on. Major League Baseball moved the All-Star game out of Georgia because of Georgia's voting laws. Now, I believe that you and Senators Hawley and Lee want to strip the league of its antitrust immunity. Senator, what would that do?
Well, what it would mean is that Major League Baseball would play by the same rules everybody else does. There is a special exemption for Major League Baseball that no other sports league enjoys. It's 99 years old. The Supreme Court invented it, just created it out of nowhere. And so what we introduced is legislation to repeal that special exemption and say that Major League Baseball should follow the same antitrust rules that the NFL has to follow, that the NBA has to follow. And the reason we did this is because of Major League Baseball's actions in Atlanta. We're seeing, and we, in the past couple of weeks saw a big acceleration of this, we're seeing big corporations becoming the woke enforcers of the Democratic Party. We're seeing multiple CEOs making the decision to wade in on political matters and to use their corporate power to punish anyone who doesn't agree with the Democrats' radical plans to transform the country. In this case, weighing in favor of radical proposals by the Democrats to take over elections and change the rules so that Democrats can never lose again. That's the objective of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. When Major League Baseball yanked the All-Star game out of Atlanta, look, on its face, it doesn't make any sense. Atlanta is 51% African American. They moved the game to Denver, which is 9% African American. Explain to me how remotely you are a racial social justice warrior by taking jobs and $100 million from thousands of African American owned small businesses in Atlanta, from thousands of African American workers in Atlanta. This had nothing to do with substance or racial politics. This had everything to do with corporations enlisting in the Democrat vision to transform America.
I tell you, but I've got to leave time for this. Yesterday, you grilled President Biden's Justice Department pick, Kirsten Clark, over her past op-ed calling to defund the police. I've got time to roll the exchange. Roll the tape, please.
Do you still believe it is a good idea to defund the police?
Thank you, Senator, for that question. I do not support defunding the police.
Do you believe you were wrong last year when you called for defunding the police and investing less in the police?
It's a poor title chosen by the editor.
Into that space, and this is a quote, into that space has surged a unifying call from the Black Lives Matter movement. Do you really believe defund the police is a unifying call?
I don't support defund the police.
All right, Mr. Senator, will she be confirmed?
Well, if the Democrats stick with her, she will. And this is an example of Joe Biden keeps nominating radicals. That op-ed, that was not something she wrote 10 years ago. That was last year, where she was advocating throughout the entire op-ed. It wasn't just the title, by the way. And I spent the rest of that questioning walking through what she argued for, which is taking money away, defunding the police. And I'll tell you, this particular nominee, Ms. Clark, when she was in law school, she organized a rally and an event celebrating convicted cop killers, where they celebrated one cop killer who murdered a Pennsylvania police officer, another cop killer who murdered a New Jersey state trooper, and they celebrated those cop killers as political prisoners and heroes. This is radical, it's extreme, and right now every Democrat in the Senate is willing to rubber stamp Joe Biden's willingness to give in to the radical left that wants to abolish the police, and they want to put her in one of the top positions in the U.S. Department of Justice.
Elections have consequences, but we never thought they would be this. Mr. Senator, thank you very much for being on the show this morning. Hope you're not a stranger. Come and see us soon. Thanks very much.
Look forward to it.